Hey guys, it's Matt here. I am just getting things lined up here, and I am gonna be rocking and rolling in just a moment. To be honest, I'm trying to figure out what the URL for this thing is so I can look at the chat box. Forgot my own URL here. iPad fail. Let's see here. So yep, we're gonna get rocking and rolling here in just a moment. I want to be able to see this chat box. So thanks for joining today. And hey, there we go. I remembered my own URL. So I'm going to share my screen here. Hey, if we haven't met, nice to sort of meet you in person, kind of. And I'm going to get on here and share my screen, and we're going to get started here. Thanks so much again for coming out today. And this is the part where Matt tries to figure out how to do PowerPoint. Nice. Woo. All right, so guys, this is your best launch ever with me, the aforementioned Matt McWilliams. And it is good to see you guys, even though I don't see you. Let's make sure this bad boy is sharing. Yep, it is. Awesome. For those of you who don't know, I am not a professional webinar host or expert, as you can tell, but this is your best launch ever. And we're going to talk today about how to make this self-publishing school launch. This one, the one that starts next Monday, January 11th, and runs through the 24th. We're going to talk about how to make this your best launch ever. So no matter what you've done in the past, like you've won affiliate contests, you've finished top 10, whatever it is, you've never even sniffed a leaderboard, you've never made a dime as an affiliate, we're going to talk about the way to make this your best launch ever. I'm getting a message from Joanna real quick, sorry, that says, can't see anything playing. You've never made a dime. That's me talking. In case, for those of you who don't know, Google Hangouts is on about a 20-second delay, maybe as much as 40 seconds. So Joanna, hopefully you can hear this. You should see the video, press play, and it will be running live. So I just heard myself talking, so that's good news. At least that's working. But yeah, we're going to talk about how to make this your best launch ever. So we're going to talk about, here's what we're covering today: the promotion calendar. We're just going to run down through that so you guys have a full picture of what that looks like. I'm going to share some methods, some tips to make this your best launch ever, just so you guys will know some of this is going to be kind of basic. Like you might be rolling your eyes and going, that is way like beginner level stuff. And some of it might be, for some of you might be advanced to the point where you're like, I don't understand. Totally cool. Email me afterwards and I'll answer any questions you guys have. And I'll answer any questions you have here. So as Joanna did, it wasn't a question, but a comment. There's a chat box on my iPad. It's below the video. On my laptop, it's to the right of the video. For some of you, it may be like, above the video. I have no idea. But somewhere on this page, you should see a place to leave questions, comments. A lot of times when I do these things, like you guys end up helping each other out, which is totally cool, and supporting each other and answering each other's questions, which is really cool. So we're going to talk about some promotion methods. We're going to talk about the affiliate system. I'm just going to give you a quick tour, like a, 5-minute tour, so you know where to find everything. And then we're going to talk, I'm going to answer all the questions you have. And in no particular order, 4 and 5 really, I'm going to share some ninja tactics. Like I'm going to teach you how to use nunchucks and probably, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm going to teach you some things that I've learned in the past year, over the past year as I've been doing promoting more and more stuff myself. I will say right now, literally right now, it's 2:34 Eastern time as I'm recording this. And I'm in the middle of a fierce battle in Michael Hyatt's best year ever contest. I know a few of you watching are probably doing that as well. And you've seen the leaderboards, and Mr. Jeff Walker is sneaking up on me. He's in 4th place. I'm in 3rd. Top 3 get a killer prize. And so as soon as I'm off this, I got to be honest, I got to forget about SPS for just a little bit and go focus on that because I need to finish top 3 because I've been working on that for a while. Anyway, so I'm going to share some of the stuff I've even learned like literally in the past few days with that, and the ever popular much, much more, because the much, much more is amazing. For those of you wondering where Mark Sieverkrop is, he is in the chat room. He is not on with me, because until 3 minutes ago, I forgot that I actually said he'd be on this. And so that's why he's not on with us today, but he's a cool dude. He is a real person, for those of you who don't know. And to be quite honest, I'll share one of those little ninja things right now. 75% of the emails you've gotten from me, Matt McWilliams, actually came from Mark Severcrop. So he's the man behind the curtain. Occasionally, I let him out of the cage and even feed him every now and again. And he's a super cool dude. So been friends for a long time, and he is awesome at what he does. So let's talk about the calendar. Just run through that real quick as I take a sip of water. No, I'm not one of those guys who like puts stuff up on a screen and then reads it to you. I do not do that. So calendar, Jan 11th, pre-launch content number 1. I'm just kidding. I don't do that, seriously. January 11th is the first video. Let's see here real quick. Actually, I just wanted to make sure everybody's cool on the technology side. Pat Selby is having issues. Pat, if you can hear me, I wish I could tell you what the issue is actually, but hopefully best option right now, refresh the page, click the play button. And thank you, Crystal. I'm trying to kill it on Best Year Ever. And yes, Mark is often the person emailing you. Sorry. And yeah, so as Joanna just said in the chat there, the answer probably is refresh the entire page. If that doesn't work, try shift refresh or whatever you fancy Mac users do, because I don't remember. And yes, Mark has a Mac and I don't. He's going to rub that in later because I still am on Windows. I don't even have a smartphone because I shunned those years ago. But anyway, that's a whole different story. January 11th is video number 1. You guys can see here, and I'm going to show you in the affiliate center kind of what, to get an idea of these videos as well. What I'm showing you here, Chandler's take and what the video is about, is in the affiliate center. So you don't have to like screenshot this and memorize it. There will be a quiz later. I expect you to remember every bullet point on this, but just to give you an idea, video 1, and it's exactly what you think with video 1. It's the starter. It's, the how to become a best-selling author in 2016. This is that part that it kind of puts the dream inside of people. It really shows people that it's, possible. The reality is Chandler did this when he was 20 or 21 years old. I think he was 20. And so if a 20-year-old college dropout can become a best-selling author, I mean, let's be real. Anybody can. So that's what this one does. Plants that dream inside, which people need. January 14th, the next one is the number 2. It's addresses one of the biggest problems that people have, and that's that blinking cursor. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I open a blog post, the hardest, to write a blog post, to write any piece of content, the hardest thing for me to do is write the first 10 words. It seems like for me, if I can just get past that little intro, the blog post format, it's like intro, paragraph, image, and then the rest of the blog post. The first part takes me 20 minutes sometimes. The rest of it takes me 10 or 15. And this really helps people get past that, from blank page to published author in 90 days. January 17th is the 3rd video, and this is about marketing. I know you guys know this, but there are probably a bajillion awesome books out there that none of us have ever even flipping heard of because they weren't marketed properly. There's a reason why they call it a bestseller. That I know of, other than Pulitzer Prizes and other stuff. There is no list in the New York Times or USA Today or Wall Street Journal for best written book. It's best selling books. And if you're going to sell a book, you got to know how to sell it. You got to know how to market it. And there are the thing about doing this thing with SPS and getting into this author world is I've discovered, I'm involved with this summit right now with all these huge authors, Tom Rath, Greg McCune, Sean Acor, and not to pick on some of them, especially if any of them are watching, I love you. But if, these guys are amazing. Tom Rath is one of my favorite authors. His content is amazing. Now, thankfully, he actually knows how to market now, but so many great authors suck at marketing. So this video will help them. Then January 20th, the webinar. It's actually webinars. There should be an S there. Should have made that plural. 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern are the 2 times for the webinars. You'll want to start promoting that the day before. And so what I've found, I'm getting into ninja tricks now, so to speak. What I've found personally works really, really well for me. And a lot of this I'm going to share in the emails that we send out as we go. But part of this whole process here is to give you the big picture. We'll talk about that later, like having a plan is to give you kind of the overarching view so that you're not like just getting the emails that I send out during the launch and then doing what I say in that email. It's more like, here's the big view. What's really worked for me as a balance between emailing my list a bajillion times about a webinar or webinars and emailing once, which doesn't work particularly great either, is I email the day before, I email the morning of, and I email in between them. So for this, like if I were picking the 3 times that I was going to email, for me personally, I would email at my normal time on the 19th, which for me is 7:15 Eastern time. Like that's my just stock email time with average stuff. I would email again, probably at that same time the next day, the morning of the 20th. And then I would email probably about 5 p.m., maybe even as late as 6:30 or 7 in between the webinars. And what I'm going to say in that one, and we'll give you swipe copy for this, is, oh my goodness, Chandler Bolt just rocked this webinar. He showed you how to do boom, 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 boom. And it was awesome. The questions were awesome, et cetera, et cetera. And it's that momentum, email. The good news is, even though you missed this one, you can still attend. He's doing another one in just a few hours. Make sure to go register here. What we find with that one is not only do we get a ton of registrations, but the show up rate is insane because you sign up on Monday, stuff comes up usually in 24 to 36 hours. Very little, not saying never, but very little is going to come up in the next 3 hours in your life that you didn't expect as a rule compared to what might happen in the next 36. So the show up rate is amazing for that last one. So that's what I would email personally, is those 3 times. That's what I have found really works well for me. Now, to answer your question that I know a bunch of you are probably going to ask, we are not doing a replay. This is a show up live or you missed it deal. So that leads, oh, and by the way, back to the 20th. We are unofficially, but officially opening the cart. That was confusing. You can tell I used to work in politics because I like to say things like that. On January 20th, during the webinars, we're opening the cart to people who were on the webinar. So you will start making money on the 20th. And if you want to make this your best launch ever, driving people to this webinar is absolutely crucial, because I'm going to go out on a limb and say, other than maybe open cart day and final day, this is going to be your biggest chance for sales. In fact, this might be the second biggest day other than close cart day, which, as you guys know, is fast and furious. Then the sales video on the 21st. This is the tour. Like it's basically taking those first 3 videos and then summing them up and showing people actually what they'll get in SPS. That's what a sales video is, right? So we're gonna do a sales video on the 21st. That is the official open cart. And then, January 21st, starting with that sales video through the 24th is the open cart time. This is, this is it. It's a short open cart. It's 4 days. And we have basically proven over time, with cold traffic, with Facebook, with whatever, the guys at SPS are doing in terms of traffic, we've proven that that's kind of the ideal time for us, is that 4-day window there. All right, so best practices, how to make this your best launch ever. Now that you got a good view of the the process there, of the calendar. The first thing is repeated contact. I know most of you on this probably know that if you want to make this your best launch ever, it's not going to happen with a single email and a tweet and a Facebook post. Like, it's just not going to happen. You got to keep at it throughout the launch. It starts on January 11th and ends on the 24th. And I'll show you this in the affiliate system, we have these suggested mailing plans. And the idea behind these suggested mailing plans is I'm going to send, personally, like for me, I mentioned doing the best year ever promotion right now. I set out from the get-go to try to finish top 3 on that thing. And I knew that wasn't going to happen sending 6 emails. So I have my email at 11:55 p.m. tonight is, no, 12:05 a.m. tomorrow is my 17th email in that promotion. And that's what but it's working. And just to, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but to answer your question about unsubscribes, it's not really an issue because the funnel got smaller as I went along. I'm emailing to less and less people most of the time. And I'm emailing only to people who clicked. Or in our case with SPS, one of the things that we'll do, and it certainly helps to ask. We'll try our best to remember to send them to you without you asking, but we'll send you your opt-ins. So you can, not only can you take those out of your subsequent emails and not have to worry about that, but we'll send them to you so that when we get to that period, when we get to that period where it's the final, 48 hours, let's be honest, most people who said they passed you up on opting into any of the first 4 videos or the webinar, they're not interested in self-publishing. They're just not. So why would you email them on the cart close? That would just be completely illogical. You might get one extra sale over the course of like your last 5 emails if you did that. But if you're only emailing your opt-ins, you don't have to worry about unsubscribes because you can actually set up 2 unsubscribe links. One where they're unsubscribing to your entire list because you have to have that if with your email provider, I believe. And the second one is just, no, you know what? I don't want to hear any more about this self-publishing school thing. I just want to opt out of these emails. And now you don't have to worry about unsubscribes. That's the number one concern. I mean, if I ask you, tell me in the chat room if this isn't you, but the number one problem that people have with repeated contact, with sending multiple emails to their list about a promotion is, well, I'm afraid of unsubscribes. Well, don't worry about that. If you do this, you do the, use your opt-in list. You're going to have to email them a few times on the front end. I would email them about each of the videos, and I would email them about the webinar, at least the 2 or 3 times that I talked about. But above and beyond that, once we get to open cart, email your opt-ins. And that's when, and we'll talk about another reason why you want to keep emailing them during the open cart, because yes, we will be too. The second best practice is different mediums. I keep saying email, but what that really means is Facebook, email, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, your podcast. Gosh, what are some of the new things that like kids are using these days? I can't even think of all the the new stuff. You do it, talk about it on Periscope or Blab or, golly, it's I feel old talking about social media all of a sudden, but share it on different mediums and optimize those. If you guys have never read, Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk for social media, I highly recommend that. Optimize those posts to when is best for your followers on that medium, and share different things on Facebook versus, versus Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. Twitter is a little bit better for deadlines, than Facebook. Just because it's so quick, it's like easy. Whereas Facebook is more of like, I've got nothing to do for the next half hour, so I'll scroll through my Facebook posts. I mentioned I'm still in Windows, don't have a smartphone. I also don't have Facebook, but anyway, but I do know a little bit about it, even though I have to ask Mark all the time, like how it actually works. And I still call it the Facebook. Anyway, use different mediums. Third thing is make it personal. Speaking of making it personal, and I just saw a question from your writer platform. I'll answer that in just a moment, actually. And I thought I touched on that, but I'll definitely answer that in a moment. Speaking of making it personal, personal story here. I mentioned this, this best year ever promo with Michael Hyatt and how well I'm doing in that. One of the reasons is that I've made it insanely personal. I have talked about over and over, I'm an evangelist for it. And I've said, listen, this thing changed my life. This thing was so critical to me having my best year ever in 2014 to 2015. I'm not making a pitch for his thing right now at all. I'm just saying, like, that's what I've been telling my followers is this is personal. Like, I want you to experience what I experienced. I want that for you. That is insanely more effective than like, hey, I've never done this before, but you should do it, And I'm not necessarily talking about the experience with the course, because Hal Elrod, who won the last contest, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me saying this, I'm not giving away any of his secrets or anything. because you could sign up for his email list and see them. He didn't take self-publishing school and go through it and then publish his multi-best-selling book, The Miracle Morning. But he did talk about how much publishing a book impacted his life. And so find a way to make this personal. Sometimes it's a little bit of a stretch. Like, this could be insanely awesome for your audience, but you don't really have personal experience with the subject matter or the course itself. That's okay. Find a way to make it personal. Maybe talk about your cousin who wrote a book and, it changed their life. And if you need access to the course in order to get a feel for it, just ask me. Just email me, matt@mattmcwilliams.com. And by gosh, if you don't know my email address by now, you haven't been paying attention. I don't know how you ended up on this without know my email address. Just reply to one of the 712 emails I probably sent you so far this year and ask me for access to the course, and I'll get it for you. So make it personal. I will just have to say, like, the email that is going out in like an hour for that Best You Ever campaign was like one of the single most emotional pieces of copy I've written. And, sometimes making it personal, I will say it can be scary because it's vulnerable. I had to be like ridiculously vulnerable in that email. But I told people, like, I want this to happen for you. So make it personal. To answer your question, Kimberly, how do you set that up in Aweber? Allow people to opt out or unsubscribe from a promotion, but not your main list. I have absolutely no idea. So if I were typing that to you, I would put a little smiley face at the end, because that's my way of saying, I know I'm absolutely no help on that, but I would ask Aweber how to do that. I believe there is a way. For those of you who are experts in Aweber, maybe you could help Kimberly with how to do that. I know how to do it in a MailChimp. I know how to do it in Infusionsoft. I have absolutely no idea, sorry, Kimberly, in Aweber, but I've got to assume it's possible. And if not, you need a new email provider. I'm just going to throw that out there. Sorry. All right. Bonuses. Another best practice. I was talking to a partner today, another affiliate, doing a one-on-one thing. I was talking about, his bonuses. And I said, my rule of thumb is 25 to 50% of the value of the course. SPS has two levels, 497. Good grief, you think I would know this? 497 and 1997. But I'll tell you this: the average value, the average buyer will spend about $990. I think it's actually 988 or something like that. So 25 to 50% of that. In other words, I don't feel like when you're offering bonuses to your audience that they necessarily need to be something. I mean, we've all seen this, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. It kind of annoys me. It's like, hey, buy this $1,000 course, and I'm offering $900,000 worth of bonuses. Like, come meet me on the moon and things like that. And it's ridiculous. We were talking about this in a mastermind with Danny Inney and a few other guys in Atlanta recently, how that actually is a disservice to customers sometimes, because it's like drinking water from a fire hose. Hey, I'm going to go through your course, self-hosted school, and these other 13 courses that I get as a bonus. That's just a farce. They don't go through any of them. You guys know the psychology behind that. You give people 14 options, they pick 0. You give them 2 or 3 options, they pick 2 or 3. And so be generous with your bonuses, but don't be ridiculous. People tend to frown upon ridiculousness. I don't know about you. I do. So 25 to 50% of the value of the course. So $250 to $500 is a good bonus package. It might be 2, 3, 4 things. I wouldn't have 13 things. I wouldn't have even, 7 or 8 things. I believe that teeters into that ridiculous category, but I would find something that's complementary, that is, it could be a marketing thing. It could be something that just helps you get started. It could, maybe building an audience. It could be anything that is complementary. You think, who's buying self-publishing school and what skills do they need? What other skills do they need? It doesn't contradict anything in self-publishing school, and it doesn't necessarily replace anything in self-publishing school. It complements it. That's the key to bonuses. And those really help move the needle. Next thing is go freaking big. If you're going to promote, if you're on a webinar called How to Make This Your Best Launch Ever, then go out there and make this your best freaking launch ever. Don't mess around. Make this your best launch ever. And that means you can't be passive. You can't, like I said, you can't send one email and sit back and fingers crossed. It's not going to happen. You got to go big on this. And so I want this to be your best launch ever, not only for you, but quite frankly, selfishly. Because if this is your best launch ever, that means Merry Valentine's Day for my family. So I want you to go big. But it's also, you saw the next one. No, I mean, it's a mentality. It really is so much of this. Like we get into, I don't know about you guys, but we get into this marketing world and it's all about tactics and strategies. And we never really talk about the mindset. We never really talk about this mindset that, you know what, I can sell 10, maybe selling 10 units of self-publishing school is a stretch for you. But if you believe that you can and you go big and you go into this with the intention of selling 10, then you can. And if you, maybe it's 100, maybe it's 200 of these, maybe it's getting to the 6-figure mark, maybe it's selling 5. I don't know what it is. I don't know what would be big for you, but whatever is a little bit of a stretch for you and makes you go, I don't know how I'm going to pull that off, but I'm going to find a way. That should be your goal for this. And not to be cliche, but the cool thing is if the most you've ever made in commissions is $500 and you set a goal to make $2,500 in commissions and you fall just short, well, mission accomplished. You still made 4 times more than you ever made before. So go big. Send that extra email. Not burn your list. I didn't say burn your list. I said send that extra email. There's a big difference. I truly believe, based on the past year, based on history, this email that I'm going to send tonight for this promotion that I'm a part of now, I'm going to get 0 unsubscribes. And it's going to make me a couple $1,000s. I know that historically. And quite frankly, I might get 1 unsubscribe. I'll say that. Let's be realistic. There might be 1. Okay, big whoop. I lost 1 subscriber that apparently doesn't like me promoting stuff. That doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So go big, have a plan. I talked about these mailing plans. We're going to get into those in just a little bit. But the important thing is to have a plan and stick to it. I'm terrible at this. I wrote that email that goes out in like an hour for this promo. I wrote that at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock this morning because I woke up this morning and had a Post-it note on my desk that reminded me that I needed to write content for the last day of this promo. I'm not the poster child for having a plan. It's just like the do as I say, not as I do hour here. But have a plan, and so pick one of these plans, pick one of these mailing plans and stick to it. I will tell you, like this is the ninja, this is the man behind the curtain type stuff. Most people who start at the conservative drift towards one of the other two as they go along because they see what's happening. And that's actually, for those of you who also run your own launches, that's one of the reasons why we offer those is because if I can give you any plan, as an affiliate, if I can give you any plan, I know that 75, 80% of the time I can get you to upgrade. It's kind of like if they can just get you to rent a car from them, there's a decent chance that for only $17 more per week, they can upgrade you to the bigger car that you don't really need. And I know that because we just rented one just like that we really don't need. Anyway. All right. Get the checklist. This is going back to that plan. Somewhere on this page, depending upon where you're writing this, you will see a little notebook with a blue pencil and some stuff, and it says checklist. You click that button that says send me the checklist, and boom, you're going to have the checklist. You don't have to opt in. It shouldn't even really say send me the checklist so much as get the checklist, but I don't really know how to use lead pages. So it says send me the checklist. Click that, grab it. For somebody like me personally, when I'm promoting stuff and they don't have the checklist, that's when I end up writing content at 10 o'clock in the morning for that day because I don't have a checklist, and I don't make checklists very well. Like I don't make my own checklist. I'm just admitting that. But I'm going to give you this checklist. This checklist, you can literally, I actually will say something. Susie, it's on the page actually, if you'll click that. I just realized something about this checklist, guys. So I'm going to change this for those who are watching the replay. For those watching live, there are dates wrong. I totally screwed this up. Just realized this. The webinar is on the 20th, and there is no webinar replay. So ignore the 122 stuff. For those of you watching the replay, tune me out for like 30 seconds. But for those of you live, ignore the webinar replay on 122. Make sure like download this, scratch through it. And the webinar is actually on the 20th. And you will want to email about the webinar. So I apologize for that. I just caught that. Mark, I know you're watching. Remind me to do that, please. And thank you. And so anyway, get that checklist and then make the corrections I just talked about. And if you have any questions on it, of course, email me. So let's go through the affiliate system. I'm going to jump out here. All right. You can close that. And here is the affiliate system when you log in. I'm logged into Emily Rose's, one of the coaches for self-publishing schools. You log in, you'll see a gigantic video with Chandler giving you a thumbs up. Click that to play it. It's just a nice little welcome video from Chandler. Such a cool guy. And anyway, watch that. Nothing really down here, to be honest, other than it's got my contact information, Mark's, our phone numbers. Just contact us anytime. You will, once the launch starts, also see some stats over there on the right side. I do not right now know when those will be up, but it won't be any later than the end of next week. I actually developed with a really cool developer. We developed a plugin that syncs, for those of you who are geeky and know this stuff, it syncs Infusionsoft in this affiliate system. So you'll be able to grab your stats in there in pretty much real time. It updates every 15 minutes. You will also be able to download your sales and your opt-ins that I know of. I'm bragging now. I shouldn't say this, but that I know of, no other affiliate system like this, at least, you're able to go in and download your own opt-ins. So it's really cool, really helpful. You can download those. Again, they're updating every 15 minutes, so practically in real time. That'll be up sometime next week. There's a little bug in it. It works for those of you who are in Ray Edwards' launch. You saw that. It's fully functional. It's just slow, and I can't figure out why. So we're debugging that now and trying to get that to work. So there's the home page. Your links. This has exactly what you would think it would. Your links. And I have not finished this page, as you can tell. And then need to. Anyway, all of the future links, just FYI, as it says here in bright red, all of the future links just go to the self-publishing school homepage. So don't freak out if you're like, hey, I'm going to schedule this email for the webinar today. You're one of those people who does things like ridiculously early. It's just going to go to the homepage of SPS. But it'll be live in plenty of time for everything to go live. So don't worry about that. You'll also see this little bad boy here, affiliate referral link. Please, please, please tell your friends about us, and we pay you 10% of what they earn. So super cool way to earn extra money. One of the questions I get asked a lot, I sent an email about this, but one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, when do those second tier referrals count in my sales contest? So in other words, if let's say you and I both, let's say you make $5,000 in sales and I make $7,000 in sales, but how did I say that? I've already, let's say I make 7,000, you make 5,000, but you've referred people who've made $40,000. So 10% of that is 4,000. Effectively, you have $9,000. You beat me. So if you want to win the Lexus, boom, that is a good way to do it. So that's your links. It's easy. Just go there and grab them. They're in the little boxes. So you got to do is just, you can literally click in the box and Control A, or again, whatever you fancy Mac users do, and grab your links super quick. This here, the course info thing, man, I love these links because I've named them so well. It has all the course info, remarkably. So it shows you what they get, what's inside, what students are going to learn, some quotes about it, refund policy, all that fun stuff that's in there. Super quick. I'll let you guys go from that. Here's the calendar I mentioned. This calendar, believe it or not, is actually correct as opposed to the one I gave you on the checklist. I'm going to open up this link here so you guys can see that when I come to it because it's linked to from multiple places. But this is the promo calendar. Got descriptions of most stuff right now. We're finishing up the other stuff. This marketing tips, this is where I will post the replay of it, and I'll post some other stuff here. As you can tell, I kind of just went through a little bit of this. I did not cover this sell with authority one, which, by the way, I'll cover now since we're on it. And seriously, like, this is so true. This story, like I said, the worst thing in the world is a scared seller. And this story is true. I spent probably, I don't know, earlier last year, about this time last year, I was talking to this guy. I mean, this guy I look up to big time, like a Michael Hyatt type level guy. And he was talking about his sales strategy. And I'm just like, dude, this is why you don't make more money when you have a bajillion followers. It's because you sell scared. So don't sell scared. I'm going to tell you right now, SPS is phenomenal. If you want, I can send you dozens of testimonials. If that will help you, I will send you dozens of testimonials. We have them, like real people who filled out the survey. And you can be proud of this. Like, it's just such a good course. It really is the best course on the market if you want to learn how to self-publish a bestseller. So sell with authority. All right, I'm done with that. So there's marketing tips. I'll post this replay video here if you guys need it. This will have your tools. Not sure. Oh, one thing that Susie said is that the text is blurred and hard to read. Is anybody else having that problem? If so, let me know in the chat box. I might need to make it bigger. So let me know in the chat box if you guys are experiencing that. So right now, if you want your stats before we get that plugin on the homepage, like I told you about, you can log into Infusionsoft right here in the tools page. Got all kinds of other stuff here that we've talked about. Now, I will open this one as well. Also got a little video here that shows you how to create a, so it looks like a few of you are having an issue seeing the text. Let me try something here. I'm wondering if it's fuzzy or what, since I'm not experiencing that. Let's go see. Oh, see, yeah, freaked you out there with the seeing that screen. Hopefully this helps you guys a little bit. This is my senior citizens version of the text. I shouldn't say that. Make fun of old people. Special place for me, huh? Anyway, so this is where this video down here, if you ever want to create a custom link, the reason why you would do that, just so you'll know, is if you're promoting it, say, in your blog sidebar, and you're promoting it via email, you're promoting on Twitter, and you just want to know how, like, what's working. You know, where's my actual traffic coming from? You know, you want to know, like, what's the 20% of your activities that are producing 80% of your commissions? This is the way to do it. You can go in and create a custom link. Swipe copy. This is exactly as you would think it is. Again, I told you guys some of this is going to be simplistic. Some of this is going to be advanced. Swipe copy is exactly what it sounds like. You're supposed to swipe it. You're supposed to go in and steal it. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you're supposed to copy it word for word, though you can. You're supposed to use it as inspiration. I personally, and this is just the way I am, I actually write all my copy original unless I'm in a hurry. And sometimes I'll just send out an email, especially, you know, if it's a quick one, I'll just send out an email and copy paste, and I'll change a couple of words. So, but that's what this meant for. You just click here, boom, drops down all the copy. And click on the next one, boom, drop it down. We're going to have social media copy in there as well soon. This, gotta cover this one. Woo, contest, because it's awesome and it doesn't work. That's funny. Let's see here. So we learned that one of the links is broken, and Matt messed up the affiliate system. Yep. I've got to redirect. Sorry, guys. Let's go down here. We'll see this contest. That's funny. First place, Lexus. Awesome. Second place, Smart Car. Not so awesome. I'm kidding. It's still awesome because we'll just give you $15,000 cash, because who's going to take the Smart Car? You guys try finding a $15,000 car. Third place, my mom would love this because one of her lifelong dreams is to go to the Kentucky Derby. So clubhouse package for 2 or $7,000. We got a cruise, bunch of other stuff, some awesome prizes, opt-in contests. If you've ever wanted to go river rafting on the Grand Canyon, this is an amazing one. This gigantic massage chair that I do not fully understand, but I'm tempted to just get one for myself right now after seeing the picture. Drones, stereo kits, all this stuff, guaranteed prizes, you name it. It's all in there, and it's all flipping awesome. So go check that page out. And then lastly, I do want you guys can read the FAQ on your own and the rules on your own. I do want to cover this page here. There's absolutely nothing there right now. But what this will be, once the launch starts, we're going to have a live leaderboard. This puppy will be updated every hour to 2 hours. If you've been a part of one of the launches we've run, you know how we do this. Every 1 to 2 hours early on. And as we get close to deadlines, we're going to be updating it even more frequently. So this thing will be very up to date. If you're curious where you are in the leaderboard, or you're wondering like, hey, I sent out a promo today, I'm wondering if I moved up. Love this. If you've ever been a part of a launch, I won't mention any launches names, where like you get a leaderboard update every 2 or 3 days and it drives you nuts. You don't have to worry about that with us. We're going to have this thing updated basically between about 7 a.m. and 8 or 9, 10, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to update this frequently. So it's going to be amazing. Here are those mail plans. Boom. We got all, I didn't mean to click that. We got all in, aggressive, balanced, and conservative. You guys can figure out what those mean. Here is the all in plan. I'll let you guys look at it. I'm not going to go through it here, but you just basically click on each one and it drops down to show you the mailing plan. The most conservative one has 5 emails. So if you really legitimately are going to stay conservative, these are the 5 times that you must mail if you have any chance of making this your best launch ever. I would say if you want to make this your best launch ever, you probably got to go with this one. It could be varied, could be a little varied, but I would definitely go with something like this. But this, again, these are like the absolute minimums. It's not minimum. Like, I'm not going to be mad at you if you only mail 3 times or 4 times. Like, I still want you to promote. Please don't get me wrong. But you're on a webinar called How to Make This Your Best Launch Ever. I got to assume that's not what you're doing. So these would be when I would mail. But this is probably the one that you guys are looking at. Yep, it has 11 emails. And you could probably even squeeze a few more in because this doesn't even have the webinar email that's between the the 2 like I talked about earlier, which would be another one. So that's your mailing plans there. Go grab that. And then banner ads, if you need them, they're under the affiliate tools. Just click on the banner ads link. We got the banner ads there. So I just went all the way back to the beginning, didn't I? Let's not do that. Epic fail, sorry. Questions? That's where we're at now, guys. If you guys have any questions, drop them in that chat box there. Be more than happy to answer them. But I think what I will kind of wrap up with, if we do have any questions before we get into them, is if you want this to be your best launch ever, is first have that mindset that it's going to be. Again, for some of you, best launch ever is 1 sale. I don't know. For some of you, it's 5 or 10, and some of you, it's like, how do I get to 100? I want to make 6 figures on this launch. And that's totally possible, especially when you factor in the prizes. I mean, you only, from a technical standpoint, I know some of you are like, it's only, but okay, only is, relative. It's only $60,000 in commissions plus a $40,000 first prize to get to $100,000. So I don't know what it is for you, but I would just encourage you to have that mindset. This is going to be my best launch ever. Like, set that stretch goal, whatever that is, and then do what you need to do to get there. Have that plan. I'll share some of the, the tactics that I've used. I've shared some all along, but, a good example of a thing that I've done in the past where like I tested it out. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm a big fan of Seth Godin, and I love, he says like, what's the key to effective marketing? And it's saying to yourself, this might not work, and then doing it. Like, this literally might not work, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I used to joke and tell people, like, the reason why I'm really good at marketing is that I'm willing to be wrong up to 49.9% of the time. If I tip over to the other side, I don't know, then my ego gets in the way. But I'm willing to be wrong 49.9% of the time. The cool thing about being wrong 49.9% of the time is that, like, every time I'm wrong, I learn something that helps me get better. So be willing to test some stuff out. Be willing to, experiment. And one of those things, like, just again, little ninja thing here is, it's called the midnight email. And I mentioned that earlier. I'm sending one at 12:05 tonight for a promo I'm in right now that I'm an affiliate for and doing really well, thankfully. And I'm sending an email right after midnight saying, hey, you may have thought you missed out on this. You heard me say the deadline's midnight tonight, but what midnight? What midnight is it? Well, it's midnight Pacific, so you still have 3 hours. I've done that before, and that email brings in money. It's a very effective email. I've had clients do that. I've had affiliates do that, and it is very effective. And so the other thing is, when you see that word aggressive, I want to just, Matt, I can't be aggressive with my list. Aggressive doesn't mean that you're, like, purposely trying to say or email things to them that are going to make them tune out. Aggressive means that you're giving it everything you got because you want people to get this course. You want people to get this course because it is that good. So one of the questions, Susie, if your Infusionsoft login is not working, if that's what you're talking about, yeah, I mean, truth is, you don't need anything. You don't need it right now, unless you want to go in and create a custom link, I guess. You certainly could need it for that right now. I wouldn't worry about it, but here's what I'll do. Mark, if you'll make a note, I'm assuming, Susie, that your name that I'm seeing in the chat box is the name that you're signed. Sorry, I don't know you, but it's nice to meet you. I'm assuming that is the same name you signed up as an affiliate with. If it is, Mark can go in right now or soon and reset your password to what it's supposed to be. It's probably a password issue. And if anybody's having issues logging in, it is most likely just a password issue. We haven't actually reset your password right. There's a bunch of you, and we probably missed a few. So any other questions that you guys have? And again, there's a little bit of a delay between me asking that question just now, if you have any questions, and when you'll type them in, because Google Hangouts is weird like that. So that's why if you hear me ask that and then I don't talk about it for like 45 seconds, that's why. But any other questions, go ahead and ask them now. And I'm going to give you just a moment to ask those. And if you don't, it's going to be like really embarrassing for me, because I really would like it if you had a question or two or seven. But no, I'm kidding. If you don't, email me. My email is super easy. It's matt@mattmcwilliams.com. Mark's email is mark@mattmcwilliams.com. You can email either one of us, and we will we'll answer your questions there. And email me all throughout the launch. Like, email me if you have ideas. I'll end with this as we wrap up. If you have an idea and you think it's crazy or stupid, email me and ask. Or if you have an idea and it's like you're afraid it might violate the terms and conditions, like, is this borderline? Then email me and ask. The only way to find out is to ask. The only way to learn is to try. And I can promise you, if you're willing to experiment, you're willing to get a little aggressive, and you're willing to go all out for this thing, it will be your best launch ever. So thank you guys for joining me today. Remember, Monday, we kick this bad boy off. Monday, January 11th. This thing is going to be awesome. It is going to be our best launch ever, and I hope it is for you too. You guys take care and have an awesome weekend between now and then. See ya. Bye.